the overturning of the segregation in schools, that Brown versus Board of Education, which came out in '54, there were signs up that said, impeach Earl Warren, kill Earl Warren, who was the Chief Justice of the Federal Supreme Court. So that kind of anger is understandable. It's happened in the past, but the level with which it's happening right now, I think, is depressing and scary.
A big part of that, though, is social media. People have wider range of speaking to other people. I mean, even myself in some of the groups that I'm in, I talk to people in Australia, Canada, all across the country, and you have a wider reach with social media, and you're also able to be somewhat, and I say somewhat, hidden from the world, if that makes sense.
You're anonymous.
Yeah, anonymous. That's the word I was looking for. Like I said, my hearing is this is awful. So that's part of why everything is so much more heightened. Things that happened years ago. I had a fight in high school. It wasn't videotaped and put on TikTok. I mean, so those things have been happening forever.
Did you win?
Just because. Let me tell you.
Of course you did, Bob.
Okay.
I had a fight with a person because I was working in retail. She stole a dress from me. I took it quite personally.
Wow.
Let's just say that. Teacher, do not interfere. That is what happened. But anyway, having said that, so that's the problem. Social media is everywhere, between, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and every other group that's out there. And there are groups out there that we've never even heard of that are all about.
I don't think it's just social media, but I also criticize the 24/7 news coverage that we have now. As you can expect, I don't listen to Fox News a whole lot because it's very conservative, and I don't agree with their views. But it's on all the time.
Yes.
I don't listen to MSNBC, which is very liberal and is on all the time either, because the constant beating into your head of their particular philosophies is just completely angering, and it's not good for anybody, I don't think.
No.
In the old days, John Cameron Swayze, the Camel News Cavalcade, on half an hour. Huntley Brinkley was on half an hour.
Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite. You got it straight. The news, it seemed to be straight in those days. Yeah. And half an hour was a good amount to get at a time. Yeah. I watch Lester Holt on NBC at night. Great. But
half hour,
sort of objective on both sides, and done. And you're not constantly riled up with your particular philosophies on any of the 24-hour stations. So where do you come?
About the Colorado? I just think they're wrong to have this decision when he has not been convicted of anything. Okay. So they should have waited. So if he gets convicted, then you can use the 14th. Which amendment is it?
I think it's the 14th.
That they can use it on the whole insurrection thing. And because I saw what that amendment said, it's no president, no vice president, no member of Congress, no member of Senate. If they have been not charged, but being part of the insurrection, involved in it, then they can't hold that position. Okay, but he hasn't been convicted of anything like that. So I think they should have waited.
Well, I think that as I said, when they wrote the amendment in 1868 or thereabouts, they were looking at people who had taken part in the Civil War, and they didn't have convictions in courts against those individuals. They were just saying
it doesn't say conviction in the amendment.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But we also have laws that say you can't look at a cow cross-eyed on Sundays.
Yeah, right.
In some states, And that
those
was written
things
a long
are funny
time
when
ago.
you read those.
Yes.
Those books that talk about the different silly state laws.
Yeah, some of them are really funny.
Oh my God, they're hilarious.
Well, I just saw one. You can't. It was in Texas. And you couldn't make fun of someone's female relatives on a Sunday. Male relatives were fine.
They were open game.
They were. That's right. That's okay.
We got to find a state law that says that Joe has to agree with us for the rest of
At
the day.
least once.
Yes.
Throughout the show.
Yeah. Okay, there's got to be a state law that says that.
Yeah, we'll work on that, will you, Bob? All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more is coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with Remax Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial. And he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
All right, Coffee and on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Drew Callahan here with Sue Tester McKenzie. Bob Lauder is here as well. So
Now, before you get into that,
yes, Bob. Yes.
just to when Sue was saying that she was in the fight in high school, did you see the brass knuckles she's wearing now?
I know.
Look at the ring.
That's a good-looking ring.
Well,
is-
where can I put it? It's a little Christmas tree.
Christmas tree on your index finger.
It's a Christmas tree. I
is
will, however,
fantastic.
say, I'm revealing more of me than one would think. I used to have a bracelet, 2 bracelets, gold and silver, that were actually a bicycle chain.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
They were a bicycle chain. No exaggeration. It was just and they were beautiful. Gold and silver bracelet. They also fit my hands.
Now, if you brought a bicycle chain to a fight in high school,
Man, that's a
that's-
weapon.
That's serious stuff.
Well, it was a bracelet. It wasn't.
right.
The intended purpose was a bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird. No, I didn't get in a lot of fights. That's why I remember that one fight.
Yeah.
I think
Because
that
I didn't.
we should just tell her about the Fifth Amendment. Don't talk anymore about the fight.
No, I didn't get in fights like
Statute
that.
of limitations has
It,
gone
it
by.
I
was
hope
just
so.
that particular incident that.
Well, it's funny because, once you do one, okay, now you get your reputation. Well, don't mess with her.
Well, pretty much. I mean, I'm 5 feet tall, for God's sake.
I know, but if
And,
you're
and
feisty,
it was just,
and
you
if
know what? And that's partly why I got that from my mother, which
Yeah.
is 4'11". We were talking about,
Yeah,
adult shrinking, and yeah, she's probably 4'8" right now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of you. What did they call that for men? They call it the Napoleon syndrome.
Complex.
That
Yeah,
big
yeah.
giant truck and all that stuff. But yeah, you had to stand up for yourself.
Bob,
I had to stand up for myself.
I took my one criminal justice class in my entire college career, and it was out in Idaho, and got an A, by the way.
Whoa.
And part of the course was the teacher, the professor was an ex-law guy, and he had connections with the prison, and every semester, guards would come in with a prisoner, and
Really?
we could ask them any questions
Wow.
we wanted. It was fascinating. But he goes, I never know who I'm getting. I never know what crimes they've committed. Sometimes it was murder, but sometimes it wasn't.
Wow.
And so we just never know who we're going to get. And the guy we got was originally from Texas, and he wouldn't answer some questions, mostly, and he said why, because he grew up in Texas. He was brought up the right way by his father, and there were certain things you don't say in front of women, and of course there were women in the class. So mostly about life in prison and college. In prison,
Yeah.
is like I'm not answering that because there are women here. And it's like, okay,
Really?
nope. But I bring it up because that happened to him when he got. I forgot what he went in for. It wasn't anything awful. Must have been a robbery of some sort. But when he got into prison, someone came up to him in the prison yard and wanted to give him something, and he wasn't sure why he was doing this. Maybe they wanted to be more than friends, so he decked him. he just pounded on him from doing this, and he got put into isolation for 30 days or whatever
Wow.
he got. But when he told me when he come out, he had the reputation in the yard. You don't mess with, and he was good size. He was like
Yeah.
6'4". You don't mess with him. Look what he did on his first day here. He just pummeled that guy.
Wow. Well,
So
just
it
you know,
happens.
being completely honest, I didn't pummel the person. I just took that theft personally.
Okay, all right.
And that was the issue. Do not get me wrong. Yes, I have a right hook. But it wasn't that terrible of a situation.
All right.
You can't reach across the table, can you?
You're okay with your Bob.
Okay. All right.
All right. There was another story this morning. I want to get your take on this too, Bob, because you're the lawyer here. A woman down in Pawtucket allegedly had close to $45,000 stolen from her account. She's elderly. She's got some dementia, and they have arrested her caretaker
Right.
because the son, who also looks at the bank accounts, notices that her bank account, which had $50,000 in it, had dropped to $15,000. Well, according to Pawtucket Police, the caretaker who was running errands for this woman, here's my ATM card, go buy this, that, and the other thing, was also taking money out because now you know the PIN. And so she's been arrested and like that. But the question comes down to the bank of which the card was drawn on says it's unlikely that she's going to get any money back. Now, if you're the lawyer, Bob, how do you go about can she get any money back? Is the bank liable? Or do you just go after the person that allegedly has withdrawn this money?
I think a lot is going to depend on several factors. One is going to be how much was the bank aware that there was some type of alleged malfeasance on the part of the caregiver?
I don't think they knew of any. If she's taking out $100 at a time or so.
Okay. I have a cousin who is 4 days younger than me who suffers from dementia and disability. However, before that became apparent to a lot of people, she would go to the bank and take out large sums of money. The bank notified she doesn't live in Rhode Island, notified the Department of Human Services that they were wondering whether or not there was some type of elderly abuse because it didn't seem normal for my cousin to be taking out that kind of money in cash. Well, in her case, it was not being stolen from her. It was part of a hoarding factor and things like that. But that bank took action because they could see it. But in a case where someone is using a debit card and the bank doesn't have actual eye-to-eye contact with them to know what is going on, I'm not sure whether or not the bank is going to be liable. I would look backwards to see how the caregiver came into contact with the elderly woman. Was she from an agency?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if the agency is bonded for the quality of the caregivers that they're sending out, but I think that would be an avenue that her family would be looking at to see whether or not there was some type of recovery from the agency.
So go after the employer.
Yes, because depending on what the employer is saying to its prospective customers, you're hiring my agency to provide a service to you. I'm sending out this particular individual to provide it. I should be making some type of background check on the individual to make sure that they're qualified and they're honest. And so I think the agency is the one that's going to be the deep pocket in this case rather than the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, they should be bonded because I had to be bonded for something that I was going into the home and it was just a volunteer type of situation. But they wanted to make sure that I was bonded to go into somebody's home. And again, it was a volunteer thing. But I was bonded. So one would hope that
Okay.
that person's bonded.
Well, you never know. You don't have all the facts just yet, but you talk about should the employer have done a background check, and it's possible they did, and they could have come back with she's perfectly fine, and this is a theft of convenience.
Alleged
Right-
theft.
Alleged theft right
Well-
now is okay. If I take out 200, well, no one will notice, except that if you keep doing it, eventually it starts adding up.
With my bank,
Yeah.
if it's weird because keeping in mind I work on the road, so I could be in, Mass 1, 20 minutes, and then Rhode Island, so on. If I make 3 purchases quickly, they shut my card off. They
Oh.
text me.
Yeah.
They text me, and it happens right here at Aldi's. Like, I would say half the time it happens at Aldi where I'll put my chip in, but sometimes I'll forget and slide it. That's setting something off. And next, I'll stand right there at the register, and I'll say, damn, they'll say it was declined. It's like, yep, and there's my text. They shut it right down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, should something like that be implemented for all cards? I don't know.
It also depends, I guess, on maybe on the credit card company, but I had that done too, Bob, where I bought something online and it was immediately declined. And then I got the text or an email saying, you don't normally purchase this amount. Is it right?
Oh,
And I had to respond to the email saying, yes, this was me, and yes, this is what I want to do. And then they got back to me very quickly. I guess it's all automated. They said, okay, put the purchase through again. It will go through this time.
wow.
I said,
Okay.
well, that's a nice little feature that has. And I did it through again, and it went through just fine. So some have that, but if it's an ATM card and I think this was a credit card, by the way. But anyway, with this woman down in Pawtucket, I think it was just an ATM, and she's just withdrawing cash. Doesn't say why yet. We haven't got to that point yet, but you never know what people are going to need money for.
Well, I'm glad that
But she has been caught, and she has been arrested, and now she probably doesn't have a job with that particular agency.
When I go into a store with my roll of pennies, I feel a lot more confident than I would with a credit card get declined.
Your roll of pennies, huh?
Well, hey, some of us still operate on a small term basis.
All right, let's see. Up in Boston, the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, she has officially issued a formal apology to 2 men that were wrongly accused. Do you remember the Carol Stewart murder case? This is over 30 years ago.
Carol Stewart, was that the pregnant woman who was?
Yes.
And then her husband committed suicide by jumping off the
Off
Tobin
the bridge, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But originally,
He had alleged that
he called 911. I've been shot. I think my wife is dead.
Yes.
And these 2 black guys did it.
Right.
And so he gives a description of them, and they went and they arrested 2 guys, Alan Swanson and Willie Bennett, and they arrested them. And of course, the whole thing unravels. Charles Stewart, that was his name.
Okay.
Unravels on him, and he's the one that actually killed his wife.
Right.
And he did jump off the bridge and killed himself. And let's see. So they were both identified publicly as suspects in the weeks after the killing, and they faced what was unfair and racist. I don't know if you can blame and I thought about this then. I said, I don't know if you can blame the police department. Here's the person that says my wife's been shot, and these are the 2 guys that did it. So initially, they're going to believe the husband.
True.
And then, but then they kept doing more investigation, and now they get their story completely unraveled. So they never went. I don't believe they ever went to.
I don't think so.
Trial, and they were never convicted of anything. So, was an apology due? is what I'm really getting to here. It's been so long. This goes back to 1989.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah.
Was an apology due? I think that
By the city, yeah.
I think that it was probably a civilly appropriate thing to do, to say we're sorry that you were in fact arrested under those circumstances. But I don't think the city was necessarily wrong in arresting the individuals, because they had a statement from a party
witness,
that
so it was
said
supposedly
that,
a witness, yeah.
that these are the two guys that did this heinous crime. It turns out that the person making that statement was lying. Mm-hmm. But until the police did an investigation, they couldn't really determine whether or not that was true.
Right.
And for the police not to act upon an eyewitness report, I think would have been negligent on the part of the police department, because if you had a case where the eyewitness was in fact telling the truth, if the police had not moved forward on that,
They would
could
have been
have
criticized on
yes.
that.
So I think it was publicly calming, but I don't think it was absolutely necessary.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way. It's time for the weather forecast, which is being brought to you by Batteries Plus Bulbs.
Sunny skies today with a high of 36 degrees and a breeze from the north. Tonight, clear, overnight low of 16 degrees and a light north wind. Friday's weather, sunshine and 35, calm wind. Saturday, partly sunny, 42. Sunday, mostly cloudy, high near 44. Christmas Day, partially sunny with a high of 47 and a breeze from the north. Tuesday, mostly cloudy, 48. Wednesday, it's a 60% chance of rain likely, mostly cloudy, 51.
Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies and 32 degrees. At Batteries Plus, they want to know what moves you. Is it an SUV, a motorcycle, a golf cart? Whatever moves you drives them. Stop in or shop online at batteriesplus.com.
You've heard it before. The world is getting smaller. Places you had to travel to years ago now seem right next door. It's no surprise, then, that all the communities of the Blackstone Valley have so much in common these days that we share common interests. Keeping up with this trend, the Blackstone Valley's two daily newspapers, The Call and The Times, have joined forces to cover the entire valley in one convenient newspaper. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times, a paper for the entire valley. At your local store, honor box, or home delivery, 767-8522.
Hi, everybody. Dave Richards here on the floor at Family Discount Furniture. And I'm speaking with Brad, and we're in front of a two-piece sectional here that looks like it's quite versatile and very comfy. Tell us about it, Brad.
So this new collection from Ashley actually is a pick group collection, so we can customize it to any size or specs or dimensions that you have. Everything's reversible. The nice thing about this set, the cushions are all machine washable. So you can unzip the cushions, wash them, very easy to clean, very soft, good with kids, pets, very durable fabric.
Family life. And here in Woonsocket and the surrounding area, there's a lot of apartments that have smallish rooms. What if you have like a 10 by 7 room?
Yeah, so we can customize it by 10 by 7. You can make it as small as you want. You can make it as big as you want. So come down, check it out. It's on our showroom now, and it's on sale. Everyday lowest price guaranteed.
At Family Discount Furniture, corner of Social Street and Diamond Hill Road, here in Woonsocket.
Hi, I'm Kathleen LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Sue Tesser McKenzie, Bob Lauder. We're also being joined by Woonsocket City Council Vice President Valerie Gonzalez. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Nice to have you here with us. And before we talk to things going on with Valerie and the city, Bob, it's time for a first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk to you this morning about several cases decided by the Rhode Island Supreme Court which involve Christmas. The first case goes back to 1910, when Woonsocket native Aaron Pothier was governor of the state of Rhode Island. The governor asked the Supreme Court for an opinion in advance of taking action. The state statutes at the time prohibited the sale of alcoholic beverages on Christmas Day. But in 1910, Christmas Day, December 25th, fell on a Sunday and was celebrated in a secular fashion on Monday, December 26th. The governor asked the state Supreme Court whether vendors were also prohibited from selling alcoholic beverages on the 26th, which was a Monday. The state Supreme Court said that the prohibition applied to Monday sales that year as well. The court reasoned that the sale of intoxicating liquors on Christmas was to preserve this festival of goodwill and peace, and to make sure it was not sullied by intoxication and by acts of violence. Since this prohibition about sales on Christmas was just as pertinent when Christmas does not fall on a Sunday, it's reasonable to rule that when it does fall on a Sunday, the secular observance on Monday will also prohibit the sale of alcoholic beverages. The moral of the ruling? We're probably fortunate we're not living in December 26, 1910, when our beverages of choice might have been restricted. And, of course, they were restricted entirely during the Prohibition era of 1920 through 1933. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder, and my telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Well, the Supreme Court got that one wrong, Bob. Just my
Probably
opinion.
did.
Now, do you think when would that have been overturned? After Prohibition ended? You think?
I don't know if it's ever been overturned. I didn't see that part. However,
You can't buy liquor on the Monday
state-
after Christmas?
The state statutes were completely revised in 1956.
Oh, okay.
So I'll look it up and see, but I'm not sure.
All right.
That is weird. So that had nothing to do with Christmas Day.
No.
No.
Day
It
after
was the
Christmas.
day after Christmas.
Right.
Wow.
But because we link them together, we're considering it Christmas, so no, you can't buy liquor on Sundays. Does that mean the bars couldn't serve liquor either?
Right.
Wow.
Now, when is Sunday Christmas this year? Monday?
It's a Monday. This
Monday.
year,
Okay.
so-
We don't have to worry
So
about
we're
it.
safe Tuesday.
Yeah, we're safe on
Tuesday. Need arrives.
All right. Let's see. What else is going on? So Valerie's here. So, how are things with the city, in your opinion?
Oh, you know, the city's always busy.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of things happening in Woonsocket. But, you know, I'm very enthusiastic about the work that is being done and the collaboration between the council and the administration. And I think that, you know, just like with any other municipality, you're going to have a lot of challenges. But I think we're ready to take them on.
All right.
One of the recent challenges, Ms. Gonzalez, is the problem with the closing of the YMCA.
Yes.
Is there any movement on the part of the city to try and
Yes.
salvage any of that?
Yes. And I don't know how much I can say.
Okay.
But I will say, because I'm very cautious when information is shared, unless it says it's public knowledge. But let me just say this.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
All right.
Let's say we're very, very hopeful. The mayor has been working really, really hard. And we actually, I was involved in one of the meetings that took place with the YMCA. And we're looking at the very least to be able to keep the pool open during the operations for, I believe, till March. There's a lot of things that are being scheduled. But the goal is to figure out a way to continue to make to keep the pool open, which let me just say that Dr. Nugent has been a big advocate of this, and I believe there is a GoFundMe that has been open, and there's a lot of fundraising that is happening because obviously the issue with the pool has been with the YMCA was all about the finances and the losses, but that was the one program that actually was doing really well. And hence why the community is coming out so strongly. We've been through, at least me in the last couple of terms, we've been through removal hearings and all kinds of stuff. I don't think I've ever gotten much letters and emails from the community as this.
This issue?
Like, this issue has been the most contact that we've had with the community, because it's really that important to people. So we're doing all that we can, and it's looking really, really hopeful.
Is it mostly people asking, you got to keep the pool? Is that
Yeah,
the majority?
people
Okay.
people are asking
Absolutely
to
do it.
please do whatever it is. I mean, they run some really great programs in there, and we all know, that swimming is tied to a lot of positive health contributions to people. So I just, we're excited about it. We're excited about the conversations. I don't know how much details I can share, so that's as far as I will go. But I will say, I don't have the exact information of the GoFundMe page, but I would look out for it. And if you want to be a contributor and make sure that this can continue, I think it's going to be between the city and the YMCA and the community. It's something that we should be able to work out.
I didn't even think of a GoFundMe page. I didn't know one existed for this.
Well, this
Okay.
was Dr. Nugent took the charge on that, because he was also in the meeting that took place with the YMCA. He was, I don't know if he still is, but he was one of the board members for the YMCA, and he's always advocated for Woonsocket. So so this is a passion project for him. And I believe that they're ready. It's going to cost a little bit of money, or a lot of money, to keep it open. But the city's willing to do their part. If the community is willing to do their part also, and the YMCA is contributing, there's really no reason why we won't be able to make this work.
Great.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear things are with the thumbs up and things are going in a
Yeah.
good direction there. Another thing we wanted to ask you about is at the last city council meeting, the part of the convent was shot down.
No, it was actually approved unanimously.
to purchase it.
No,
That's what I meant.
no.
To
This
purchase
well,
it.
this
didn't
is
work.
where we're at.
Yes. Where's it going
This
from
is
here?
where we're at.
What's the convent?
Okay, so right 53 Coast Street is an old convent that used to belong to Holy Family.
Okay, right.
Right? So that is a facility that can house up to 21 people. And each room, the nuns would have like a little, it's almost like a cubicle with a closet.
Yeah.
And then each room, each floor has like 3 restrooms, 2 showers. And there's also other areas outside of the actual rooms, the living quarters, where you can have, like, I know they have a computer room. They have something that used to be an old chapel. So there's areas that are pretty big. There's a kitchen, and we've been talking about this, homeless issue for a really long time. We have the Dignity Bus. The diocese is working on the rectory there, turning into a shelter for 15 people. But if we just keep creating shelters, we're never going to get people out of homelessness. And this would be an opportunity for us to be able to run a program where there is a buy-in from the homeless community, where when you come in, it's not just we're giving you a bed, but these are people that we're identifying that are ready for next steps. So not only would you have a warm bed and a place to shower and get ready, but everybody's responsible to be a contributor to society at some point. If you have a job, we're actually encouraging everybody to get to a place where, you get a job. It might be, that you haven't had a GED. Perhaps we can provide the GED courses from there. But it's, we were talking about the challenge with the Coast Street, and that resolution was really just saying we're interested in pursuing this concept because we're really just putting it together. And there's a coalition of the faith community that has come together, and we're doing a lot of work individually. And we're saying, well, what would happen if instead, if maybe some of the other organizations can continue, but what would happen if we all just come together, and we join our forces, our volunteers? We want this to be something that is not a huge weight on the city, or is a huge weight on even the state, because what's happening right now is a lot of funding it's coming, And everybody got ARPA funds and everybody got a lot of stuff, but that funding is going to run out. You know, what's going to happen to the operations of all these programs when all the funding is going out? So we have to start thinking of different ways. Obviously, we don't have all the plan together, but the, initial concept is there would be part of the funding would be the buy-in from the homeless community, who a lot of them get either disability or we opened a Dignity bus the other day, and the first 2 people on the bus, they're actually employed. One of them works in the library, one of them, works at, but they just didn't make enough money to be able to stay in the house that they were in. So these people just need, extra supportive services. So we would identify them, and and they have income. They were like, one of them said, well, would I lose my place on the bus? Because when you make a reservation on the bus, it's for 7 days, right? Would I lose my place? They were saying now in Christmas, nothing is open. None of the library's not open, nothing. So we have nothing to do during the day. So we want to take some of the income that we have and get a hotel room for those days that we have nowhere to be during the day, which makes sense. So there is some income that they have. So they would need to have a buy-in. We're even talking about perhaps, I know someone at BHDDH years ago talked about a program where in the buy-in, there would be a percentage that goes towards operational costs, but then there's a percentage that goes into escrow, because the goal is to get these people to the next step. So when they're ready to move out, there is some funding there for them that has come from them. We're not asking for the state for it. We're not asking for the city. They're already receiving it, whether it is, through employment or, through disability or whatever. But it's it's thinking differently. There's a kitchen there. We're not going to do a soup kitchen. This is, we'll have dinner times. You help to set the table. You help to do the dishes. You have to contribute in some way. There has to be a contributing factor, and that would be the model for that facility and what we're looking to do.
All right. We're going to take a break here on Coffee and. So, Bob, it's time for your second message, please, from your law office. Got another story about the Supreme Court making wrong decisions?
Jeez, man. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second case involving Christmas, which I'd like to discuss with you this morning, concerns a family dispute and a Christmas tree farm. It's known as Hayden versus Hayden, and began when a father created a last will and testament. He bequeathed a parcel of land to his daughter, and he bequeathed an adjoining parcel to his son. He granted his son a right-of-way across the land of the daughter. The right-of-way said that the son and his successors could pass and repass on foot or by vehicles over the driveway leading easterly from Highland Road and over and across the land devised to the daughter. There was additional adjoining land, and the father bequeathed all of that to his children, and granted to his son a first right of refusal on the sale of the land of any of the children. Eventually the son acquired all of the adjoining land. Thereafter the son began planting Christmas trees on the land he acquired from his siblings, and as the trees matured, purchasers of the trees utilized the right-of-way across the land of the sister to have access to the Christmas tree farm. The sister objected to the individuals crossing her land and filed litigation in the Superior Court. She won the case, and it was appealed to the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, the justices sustained the judgment of the Superior Court. The justices reasoned that the original right-of-way was for the benefit accorded to the land originally inherited from the father, but it did not extend to the land which the son had acquired thereafter, even though that land was adjoining the land bequeathed to the son. The result of the litigation? Probably a rush of customers purchasing artificial trees at stores, or maybe even some of the aluminum ones which revolved with lights shining upon them. One can only wish. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney. It's an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Well, I guess they got that one right, but I hate when siblings take each other to court like that. Not good.
Man, you are just a generous kind of person who looks on the bright side of
Well,
life.
yeah, I was just going to say, so again, hearing problem here. The way I'm understanding this, he had the tree farm. She didn't want to let customers pass her
Right.
property, the right of way, to go buy the trees.
Right.
Let's just give her a cut.
Well, that's just wrong. I mean, it's Christmas
A
trees.
cut
for
in the
God's
Christmas
sake.
trees? Jeez, man.
Pretty good, huh?
But how could
Pun
siblings
intended.
not work that out?
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, but
It's Christmas
if
trees, for
siblings worked
God's sake.
everything out, I'd
Bobby
be
out of
sitting
a
under
job.
a
Be out of
bridge.
work.
I'd be out of a job.
Well, I guess Christmas trees don't equal Christmas spirit for everybody. For everybody. I mean,
that's right.
you know, because with that many Christmas trees, I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
figure
the
this one out.
smell and all the goodness.
That's right. All right.
You know?
Oh, well.
Ah, too much goodness and light. Come on. Scrooge sitting over here in the corner.
Yeah. All right. More coffee ants coming up. Stay tuned.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. John Chan and Chan's Fine Oriental Dining in Woonsocket reminds you to enjoy your holiday gathering with one of Chan's popular party platters. Or do some catering, 762-1364. Call 765-1900 for takeout and delivery. Chan's Holiday Gift Certificates. Let me repeat that. Holiday Gift Certificates from Chan's. Open Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. That's Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. On today's final 4 p.m. Milk Fund Radio auction, we'll put up for bid a Bruins Nutcracker, a Patriots hat, Celtics beer glasses, a Red Sox thermometer, and a New York Yankees umbrella, plus a Visa gift card and lots of valuable gift certificates. So join me, Joe Callahan, and our celebrity guest auctioneers, Ann Conway from Woonsocket's Museum of Working Culture, and former Woonsocket Mayor Dan Gendron, today from 4 to 5 p.m. only on ON AM and FM radio and video streamed for your convenience.
ON Radio. You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with attorney Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times, and Woonsocket City Council Vice President Valerie Gonzalez is with us as well. You mentioned it a little bit, so you've had your first, you want to call them customers, but you had your first people on the Dignity bus, and did the bus fill up completely?
No, there were some challenges right before the bus opened. So, Community Care Alliance, we were, and this is the reason why we didn't do a ribbon open or anything like that. We were just trying to get it open, and we ran into some challenges. The communication with people was a little bit, they were booked and then they were like put on hold. So, and also we were supposed to open on the day that the storm hit.
Oh, okay.
So the day that the storm hit, Michelle Taylor, she's amazing from CCA, and Betty Galloway, they worked so hard, and we what I loved was the collaboration that happened between, the city, who helped to provide some of the cots. The Red Cross came in and brought like blankets, and then we all just helped, in one way or another, and we had to do almost like an emergency shelter, although technically it's more like a warming center.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to get dry. After you got them dry, we were supposed to open the bus, but we were like, so now you have all these people, they all don't fit on the bus. How do you say you get dry and you go to the street?
Right.
So they decided to just keep the Serenity Center, who can hold more people, and everybody was able to stay warm for the night there.
Where's the Serenity Center?
The Serenity Centers were the old, I believe it's where the old Renner Center used to be. It's on Social Street.
Okay.
I want to say it's 66 Social Street.
And what kind of services does that have available?
They actually have services all through the day. That's run through Community Care Alliance, and the people can go there and stay warm, throughout the day, and they always have staff there that can help them. There's all kinds of stuff happening in there. And usually that is the place that has been identified. One of the things that came out of the housing department, which is new, and I just have to commend the office of Stephen Pryor and his staff, who have been working and meeting with a lot of municipalities to find better solutions for cities. And one of the things that has been a challenge is these organizations, they're tasked with running all these emergency shelters, warming centers, and all these things, and that usually the funding would go directly to them, and there's no conversation really with the municipalities or collaboration. And it's one of the things that we had expressed in the past. We want to stop, people think, and I see a lot of the comments that people put about, me being the counselor that is like for the homeless, I should be a social worker, but people don't get how important it is that we join together that mindset of someone who is caring for a community and the repercussions that it comes to the taxpayers, and when you put those two things together, you come up with solutions like these municipal homeless act funds, where it used to be that Community Care Alliance is doing their best to solve the solution. They give people tents and different supplies. They go open an encampment, and then there's a clearing by the city. Well, guess what? When they're picking up all that stuff and dumping things, we just had to clean up on the 16th or one of those days, and there was two 25-footer dumpsters that were filled with stuff. When I see that, that's your tax dollars. That you paid for that. And there's this whole cycle of, people are going here, but this is not what the municipalities want. So the municipality cleans it up. So instead of doing that, I'm saying, let's create ways to, because money talks, to funnel things so that it opens up the conversation between the municipalities, the agencies, and it creates collaboration, which is what these funds are doing. All warming center funds now have to be applied for by the city, and the city speaks to the organizations. We actually had a really great meeting with Community Care Alliance, and Serenity Center was the first designated place for those warming centers, but it's now happening within collaboration.
Does Serenity Center stay open all night? Is that somewhere the people can remain?
Not normally. They have CCA has different shelters, and honestly, I don't want to get too much into the details of the operation because I'm not as involved. I just know it exists, and Community Care Alliance runs that program there. But for me, the biggest thing is all the all the things that are happening. Like one of the things that we were able to achieve with the Community Partnership Task Force is working towards homelessness. But one of the first things we realized was that without legal action, without involving the delegation and the legislators, you're just spinning your wheels and you can't get things going. So we went after something that had been talked about for over 20 years, which was the coordinated entry system, which is statewide. And the coordinated entry system will when someone's homeless, they call in, it gives them points, and it says who's next on the list, but it's statewide. So if Woonsocket decides to do a program sort of like what we're talking about doing here, with the convent, then, it's exciting if we can get it done, but that doesn't guarantee that we could get our Woonsocket people there because the state decides who goes there through the coordinated entry system, and you can have people from other communities coming in.
How would they get here? Like Westerly.
They always they find ways
to get 'em up here.
They find ways, or they don't get here and a bed ends up open.
Right.
So yeah.
I have a question. What, if anything, is being done to avoid the homelessness in the first place? In other words, you have these people that are working that might have been helped before they end up homeless. And you know, I always use myself as an example because, you know, life is hard. You know, my husband has a disability. He was a hard worker. If we had bills or Christmas or whatever, he went out and worked overtime. He was able to do that. He's no longer able to do that.
Yeah.
So, not that I'm on the verge of homelessness, don't get me wrong, but had the outcome of my husband been different, where would I have gone? What would I have done? So, at one, you know, there should be, especially with rents increase, everything's going up except salaries. So if you take your not soup kitchen, well, we'll say soup kitchen, and I'm sure there are different things, assistance with heating and electricity, minor assistance along the lines may have made it possible to pay that rent, but unfortunately, that's not how the process works.
Actually, there is a lot of help for assistance and rental assistance. The problem is that it's not sustainable to help someone.
No,
and-
I
but
don't
this
mean
is but this
that.
is what's happening. There's not enough affordable housing right now.
No, you're
like
right.
you just said, the
but
rents.
I'm not talking.
Yeah.
Forget the housing for just a second. Yes, it's hard. Yes, everything's going up. Yes, people can't afford it. Yes, I get all that. What I'm saying is, and I'm going to just use numbers. So if my rent is $1,000, and then I have my heat and electric and so on. So now you keep try if you can get that discounted rate from this, that money that would have gone there can now go towards your rent increase. That's what I'm saying. I know there is definitely not enough of all of that. But like I've been unable to get you know what I was told? Don't pay your bill, we'll get you help. Oh, so let's add more stress to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's not
what
a
I'm
good
trying to say.
strategy.
If there isn't that, and 211 told me the same thing. 211 said, if you can't get help with this, or this, then take this, because at least it'll help offset those costs.
Yeah.
Whether it's food or utilities or, and that's what I'm saying. So I 100% agree with everything you're saying. But I feel that if a little bit of help came in different areas, the money you would have put there goes to that.
Yeah, and there is some rental assistance, there's heating assistance, there's all those kinds of things. The issue is we can help you this month, but that situation is perpetual.
Well, in
you
Mass,
know,
they have
and,
a
and unless
program.
we start changing and having more affordable housing,
Right, but
you
in
know,
the state of Mass, they have a program that my girlfriend is part of. She lived in Rhode Island, had to move because she was getting zero help after her husband passed. She gets a % for the winter for her utilities, for her heat. It's not a perpetual like, oh, I'm short again, can I get more help? It is a program that is run so she gets that help. That, of course, isn't in Rhode Island, but
Well,
that's the type of program I'm
there is
referencing.
people, if you're struggling with your income, you can actually apply through Rhode Island Energy. They have a
I've gone
discount
there.
program.
Right, I've
Yeah.
gone there, and if you go to their website, and you'll see you have to also be getting other assistance. You also have to be getting, whether it's SNAP benefits or whatever. So, because I've talked to them direct, I've gone to their website, I've done all of that. You have to be getting other assistance in order to qualify for a discounted rate.
Okay, so now you just brought up something really important.
And I'm doing this for that
no,
reason. I want it here.
No, you brought up something really important. You're actually talking about a different a different category of people.
Okay.
You know, you're talking about those that do not qualify. They're that middle class that is between, you know, the
Yep.
work that they have two working people at home or whatever. That's actually the biggest challenge, you
You're
know,
100%
because
right.
and when we started feeding the hungry at our church, we thought, oh, we're gonna be seeing like a lot of homeless people, and we quickly realized these are people who are working, they have a place, but today they have to choose between food or gas to get to work.
Yep.
You know, because things get, you know, that tight, and that's another beast.
Yeah, no,
You know,
absolutely. I'm glad that
that-
I brought it up because people out there have their thought process is
Yeah.
homelessness, but it's more than that. It's this affects,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I put myself out there in my own personal situation because it's not just me. I have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
I work hard.
Yeah.
I
All
mean,
right.
I do everything
We're,
right, so I think.
We got to run.
Yeah,
we could
this
keep going,
this
but,
was
but
very
we're
involved. This
but
was,
we're,
yeah.
we're a little over
Sorry.
time, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
We want to thank everyone for listening. We want to thank everyone for coming in. Valerie, thanks for coming in
Well, thank you
today.
for having me.
And a Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to
Sue,
you all.
thanks for
Merry
coming
Christmas
in.
to all.
All right, and Bob, Merry Christmas to you as well.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
All right, this is Joe Callan. Have yourself a great day. Milk Fund auction coming up today at 4 o'clock. Stay tuned for Gary Smith of the crew. Do remember at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.